They blew so many other simpler things, and this they pulled off.
Hey there, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, where we talk about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John, the Cat and the Claw, part 1 and part 2. It's finally happened. We got a two-parter in the same episode. And it's time for me to rag on broadcast order again, because part 1 debuted September 5th, 1992. Part 2, September 12th, 1992, as the 8th episode.
That's crazy.
Yeah, enjoy your cliffhanger, kids.
Well, gosh.
This was brought forward because they wanted to cash in on Batman Returns by having a Catwoman episode first.
Yeah. I mean, that if it wasn't for, I think one of my things about this episode, and we kind of had that 2 weeks ago with It's Never Too Late or whatever. It's very pulpy. This feels more like a Doc Savage story than a Batman story. If it wasn't for Catwoman, you could put in any pulp hero, and Red Claw would be just as good a fit as an antagonist.
It's very, she walked into my office and I knew the second she walked in that she was danger, you know? That kind of vibe. I do love how immediately in love Bruce is, by the way. He's just like...
Oh, and Selina? Sure.
He's immediately head over heels for her.
He's going like fucking full Ariel. So like I've seen this man for 13 seconds. We will be boning. Like, gee, back off, lady.
Relax, calm down.
What I love is we get Catwoman gets her little receptionist here, and she takes this in her stride, giving you the impression Selina is just like this. This is a conversation they've had before. If you met a man, Selina, yes. Do you want to date him? Yes. I'll get the stuff.
Bring in the whip. But Isis is so well trained. Just really quick.
You know, I love Adrienne Barbeau. Adrienne Barbeau is a great Selina Kyle.
Oh, she sounds amazing.
Her chemistry as well. Yeah, the Batman Catwoman stuff is all so good.
Yeah, their scenes are great. Her voice is so... It's that perfect riding the line of like Eartha Kitt's delivery and what came after Eartha. And it's pulpy without being campy. And I think that that's such a hard line to walk.
I think it's more Lee Merriweather when she's not trying to be Miss Kitka.
Miss Kitka?
Yeah.
With the savage
we get that with Red Claw.
We do.
Yes. Red Claw and terrorist of indeterminate location.
Vague Eastern European location, we assume. Because it was 1992. The Cold War had just ended.
Yeah, country we're not currently at war with.
Yeah. Voiced by Kate Mulgrew. Captain Janeway herself is Red Claw for our using an accent before she went, I guess, full Russian is red and Orange is the New Black.
It's a shame she's not particularly good here. To be fair, she's let down by the script being god awful for Red Claw.
It's just like I was saying, it's just so stock. It's a stock pulp villain. It just never quite... She never feels like an adversary that's worthy of a two-parter, frankly.
Yeah.
This was also before Kate Mulgrew was Captain Janeway. This was a couple of years before then, because Voyager first aired in 95.
So she still was okay, I'm not doing pulp anymore. It's sci-fi from here on out.
And then
Kate Mulgrew is an underrated voice actor, I think. You know, Flemeth in Dragon Age.
She's fantastic.
You know, but yeah, here in it really is a matter of material and them letting her get away with whatever this accent is.
I think I'm not sure it's going to make sense, but my big problem with Red Claw is that she is distinctive enough to make you realize how undistinctive she is. Like, we get a lot of the generic mob bosses in Batman, and that's fine because they're all generic, but they look generic. She has like just enough of a character design. You go, okay, but she has no personality. Who is she?
Yeah. She looks like a G.I. Joe character. Like, if you told me that she was a G.I. Joe villain, like she was the sister of fuck, why am I forgetting this character? If she was like the sister of a character, like I would believe it.
She also just looks like kind of generic indie wrestling heel. Like you'll see come in once and then never again.
We do get her one more time beyond this two-parter. I think they really were like, because they're creating some of their own characters for. This is one of the first, like major, not counting like the Sewer King, but but this is one of those villains where it's like, hey kids, we got this. Isn't this one cool? And it's like, no, just give us more Harley Quinn. That was the one that stuck. Yeah,
Buy the toys, kids.
yeah, Red Claw doesn't stick the same way that other fellow Batman the Animated Series creation Harley Quinn does.
You want the funniest thing about Red Claw? She does migrate to the comics like Harley did. She makes her debut in Catwoman 43 in 2022.
That's amazing.
Yes. I believe that issue is written by Teenie Howard.
I believe so.
Yeah. Teenie, fellow Northern Virginia, she doesn't live in Northern Virginia anymore, but fellow Northern Virginia native Teenie Howard loves Batman the Animated Series, as we all should, and that was her kind of her contribution. Let's bring in Red Claw, and the crowd went wild.
She does better in the comic. I'll give her that. Probably because the accent isn't distracting.
Yes. I
think the plot's just not very great here because the whole thing is Red Claw hijack a military train to get a deadly virus. And I hate to say it, that's too far. That's just too big of a plot for Batman, for a one-off villain. Like, that's a Joker storyline. I don't know. I don't think animated series really meshes with world-ending consequences very well.
Yeah.
I think if she was, I like the idea of like a train heist, but yeah, the idea of it being a military train, I guess it ties into her vaguely foreign presentation. But yeah, I like the train stuff. But again, you could see the Spirit or the Phantom or any number of pulp heroes doing this, and it would work almost just as well.
I mean, yeah, I think the train stuff I love a good train robbery. If it had been like a Fabergé egg in the train or like a load of gold or something, I think it would have just been easy to take. It's just because it doesn't. The second you bring up virus that will destroy the world, like it's like, okay, we're at a level of silly now.
It gets a little Resident Evil.
Yeah, and then the whole thing of the twist of her like, oh, I'm gonna kill Batman with it, and then use a fake one to get ransom money. It's like, that's very stupid. Why would you do that?
Yeah, it seems very like not useful. It feels like a DLC mission for a Resident Evil game.
Or Resident Evil 0, everybody's favorite.
You know, the DLC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
I actually like Resident Evil 0.
There's nothing wrong with Resident Evil 0, but it is like a little.
There's plenty wrong with Resident Evil 0, but I like it regardless.
I mean, fair. But but it does feel like DLC.
Yeah. I mean, it reuses assets from 2002 remake, really. The nicest thing about it is you get Rebecca, because nobody gives a shit about Billy. Anyway,
my favorite. I had a friend.
Batman.
I had a friend who didn't know what it was called and thought it was called Resident Evil. Ooh. Years.
Oh.
Thought it was an O, like Resident Evil. Ooh.
Resident Evil. Very excited, but yeah, the plot of the heist is the thinnest part. It's the Batman and Catwoman interactions that are great. It's the Bruce and Selina interactions that are great.
Yeah,
it feels so weird that you would have your first appearance of animated series Catwoman, the first meeting of these characters, and it's like, cool. Let's not focus on them like conflicting in costume. Let's introduce this other vaguely feline themed villain, and that'll be what brings them together. And it's like, no, you had something good going on here. We didn't need this aspect of it too.
and to be fair, they had something really good. Like the first part of the episode is Selina wants to open a wildcat sanctuary because apparently Gotham is surrounded by mountain lions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure how that works, but she's going to buy this place. But a corporation steals it out from under her to build a resort.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that was an all right plot. Because I thought we could do what we did with Freeze last week, where Bruce is like, "You're right, Selina, and this guy's a dick, but we can't have you going around killing him. That would be bad." Like, I felt my interest drop the second Red Claw came out, and she's like, "Oh, okay, that's not terrorist plot isn't as interesting as Bruce being in the middle here of like, well, yes, this man is screwing you over and probably maybe environmentally naughty in some way, but we can't have you running around committing murder. That's also too far." It would have been that would have worked. We didn't need a terrorist group.
Yeah. Yeah, it's they've all the good stuff takes a backseat to Red Claw once that raises its head and then gets stretched into a two-parter. It's always fascinating to me what does get stretched into multi-part episodes. I feel like animated series moves away from that as it progresses, but this like first crop of episodes, we'll get to Feet of Clay, which is another one, which is another two-parter. But everybody, all the '90s kids love Two-Face or Clayface, so we let that one slide.
I don't think we get another two-parter until Robin's Reckoning.
After Feet of Clay.
After Feet of Clay, yeah.
But it makes sense. Remember, this is designed for syndication. You don't know what order these episodes, what networks you buy the package, you're going to put them out in, or like what the gap is between that. Like the general rule of syndication is you keep two-parters or multi-part episodes to a minimum, because networks want the freedom to be able to schedule how they want.
There are a shocking amount of two-parters in that first season, though, and then the second season has almost none of them. Well, season, quote unquote.
Is this the only two-part? Well, I guess technically Catwoman. I was saying, is the only two-part not dedicated to the reveal of the origin of a villain?
Well, you have
Robin's Reckoning.
You have Robin's Reckoning. You have Heart of Steel. You have I'm just looking at the list right now. You have Shadow of the Bat, which brings us Batgirl. You have The Demon's Quest, which is Talia al Ghul. And then, those are the other two-parters, other than Feet of Clay.
Yeah, the thing about Heart of Iron or whatever, it's another attempt by the show to create its own villain, but this one's metal.
Ooh. Superman has one of those.
Yeah.
They also have a vaguely offensive accent.
Yeah. I think it's fascinating that of all the things that animated series created, the one thing that's stuck and what the show is known for is somebody that basically was created as a kind of a intended one-off side character because we needed the Joker to talk to somebody. And every time they try to like, hey, let's create this, kids, and it's like, no.
And literally only exists because Bruce Timm accidentally saw a dream sequence in a sitcom episode. Like, Harley Quinn is the best example of sometimes the best things when you don't try. She is made entirely of accents and becomes the best thing.
Listen, everybody loves a good Brooklyn accent. You walk into the store, you get an egg and cheese, you sound like Harley Quinn.
Everyone loves a clown.
If I remember correctly, Arlene Sorkin was like a friend of like either Bruce Timm or Paul Dini's or both from like college. Boths. Did I say boths? From college, and they were like, "Yeah, we can write something for you, sure." John, do you have any Bruce Timm comments about Catwoman?
Oh, everyone is delightfully cheery about this episode, as you will expect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The City Fantastique have sharpened the stick. This is the first one because their episode guys in production order, so I presume they did this interview in order, which case means they started with the stick. So Kevin Altieri, the director, talks about the rooftop meeting Batman and Catwoman have. I use that as an example of how to board when we hire people. It has all of my tricks in it. Lame animation, but the board's good. Then he does a thing about when Red Claw is talking, she moves in front of the slides, which is actually an impressive effect because, you're moving a character. But he's like, in cartoons, if you want lines to bend over characters, it's not a trick, it's real animation. You shouldn't do it. The chances of it working are astronomical, but I went for it anyway and they did it. They blew so many other simpler things, and this they pulled off. Even when complimenting them, he can't let them get cocky.
It's so backhanded.
And then for part 2, Bruce Timm, and he's talking about Acom, the company of the animation for this. The whole end sequence was geared around explosions, and they were some of the worst explosions you'll ever see. We retook all of them 2 or 3 times. They were still awful, but we ran out of time and had to air them.
What?
I wasn't watching this episode being like, yo, those explosions suck.
I don't know. Like, Acom, the company of this animation, they're not the best, but they must have just urinated on Bruce Timm's face or something. He hates them with a passion. What's even funnier is Cine Fantastique magazine, in the bit they've written, they rag on them as well. Like, because for the rest of it, they're mostly neutral, doing like just basic plot outlines. Then, oh, Bruce Timm says, but here they say, plot holes render this almost incomprehensible. Batman's solution to destroy an airborne virus is to blow it up and hope the flames kill it. And Red Claw, a typically stupid villain, decides to duke it out with Catwoman instead of leaving the scene of the crime unscathed. The animation by Acom is abysmal.
Well,
I mean, I don't think it's incomprehensible. I wouldn't go that far with my reading of this episode.
My argument would be it's too simple. Like, Red Claw doesn't really have any motivation. Like, it's got plot holes, but the whole point is it's not that interesting.
Also, it's not bad looking as an episode. Like, I would argue that freaking the Clock King looked not Clock King, wow, Sewer King looked way worse in places.
I'm gonna have to look into it, but my theory is Acom did something horrible.
Like somebody slapped someone in the face or something, like, or they maybe turned things in late.
Because this is like 2 or 3 times they've mentioned them by name, and Bruce Timm gets specifically aggressive around them.
You know, we talked about like the "Did you fuck my mom, Santa" meme in a different episode. Did you fuck my mom, Akon?
Did you fuck my storyboards?
Did you fuck my?
I don't know. It's again. I'm still very confused why everybody in this interview seemingly hates the show. So some context, because there's not very much plot here. This magazine also has an episode guide to Batman 66, and in that they're glowing with praise. So, Cine Fantastique's authors, I think, are either high off their tits or Shinji.
They are Shinji. They could also be Shinji.
I don't know what's going on with them. It's very, very weird.
It's so aggressive. Like, and I think it's so interesting because you would never see a creator talk like this in an interview today. I think that they would be shit canned so fast you would forget their name.
Oh yeah, I've mentioned this a few times. This magazine came out during the production of season 2, so season 1 was still airing when this came out.
Yeah, so that immediately shit on an episode that may have very well aired like the week or so before. Just like, yeah, that one's kind of garbage. It's like, oh, okay.
You can buy on home media.
When you're syndicated and you already have like a set number of episodes guaranteed, it's like, who gives a shit? I can go ahead and rag on these guys.
Yeah, we're never going to work with these people again.
It's especially weird when we look at like last week when we were doing Return of the Joker, and like Bruce Timm there was like, oh, I was having a terrible time with the network. There is part of me that reads this and goes, I get a feeling it may have been a mutual thing. I don't think there was one good and one bad in this relationship. I think you were both probably a little bit responsible.
Everyone was toxic. No one is the good guy here.
Yeah, what this has told me is I never want to work for Bruce Timm because I'm actually worried it'll be like Whiplash.
Yeah. We're supposed to get the Batman Cape Crusader creative team for San Diego Comic-Con, and but no Bruce Timm.
That's interesting. Season 2's coming out soon.
Best to beat you up.
Yeah, what we're talking to him about. I have the screeners. Can I say
if you ever meet him, I need you to ask him about this magazine if you see why he remembers, because he seems in such a terrible fucking mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened that day, man? Did you not get your coffee? Did your depression meds run out? Like, what happened here?
I kind of do want to get like a physical, because I only have a digital scan, but I want to get a physical copy of this magazine specifically to get Bruce Timm to sign it on one of his most offensive statements.
Yeah. Can you tell me how much Arkham sucks right here?
Just death to Arkham, Bruce Timm.
Just walk up to Bruce next time you see him, Sam. Just walk up to Bruce Timm and be like, "So, can you tell me about Arkham real quick?"
He is one of the he is one of the very first celebrities I saw at a San Diego Comic-Con. I was this is going back. You can tell how much this episode sucks because I'm going to riff.
None of us want to talk about it.
We've already covered it effectively.
Effectively.
So this goes back to July 2015. I was working for Image Comics at the time, and so we would help them set up the night before the con was always so much fun because it's only exhibitors and people on the show floor. It's like the night before Christmas, and Disney was doing their big press push for The Force Awakens because that came out that year. And me and my buddy were walking through the show floor before, the day before the con starts. And Bruce Timm is behind us looking at, examining, the Star Wars stuff that they're going to display to the public the next day. And it's just like, oh shit, that's Bruce Timm. That was the very first kind of celeb sighting I'd ever had at a San Diego Comic-Con. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
Damn, that's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't think to talk to him, much less bring up, what do you think of the Cat in the Claw? But I could.
Just pulls a razor blade out of his boot. Yeah. We don't talk about that around here.
Yeah, he's ready. He's ready for just that occasion.
He's like, do you want to fight me specifically? Me, Bruce Timm. We're going to have to. This message was not sponsored by Bruce Timm.
Yeah.
No, but it could be, because please. Everything else I see about Bruce is apparently a lovely guy, so I'm just
He's fine. I have talked to Bruce Timm before. Again, I didn't mention the Cat in the Claw.
No, but just
for any other number of things that made him so angry, and just this is such an upset interview. He's like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck you. Like, that's the energy here.
Yeah. This is honestly one of my favorite finds I've ever got, because it is just people ragging on their own show continuously. I don't blame them. This episode is not great. Because Bruce does decide the best way to deal with the virus is to set it on fire, which I guess.
Sure. Anything dies when you set it on fire long enough.
Yeah. Everything burns.
Everything burns. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah.
We do get the quite nice scene of Bruce being auctioned off for charity, which is quite fun.
Folk trying to touch him.
All the women folk in their very weird outfits.
Yeah.
There's some very odd choices of clothing on those women.
I will admit, there is something in me as a ostensibly female person, right? Where it's like seeing a man in a cartoon getting catcalled and treated like a piece of meat is a little, ooh, that's a little exciting. That's a little new. Let's do that.
It also means we get to a situation where it's like, if I had a nickel for every time a Batman story revolved around people being auctioned for charity, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird. It's happened twice.
We keep
in the 90s. In the 90s, yeah. It's an odd scene, but of course, Selina Kyle cuts through the den. I'm kind of sick of Bruce wearing the brown yellow combo.
It's a delightfully sickly suit.
Yeah, the brown jacket, yellow dress shirt. It's just like
it's so boring.
Do you know anybody that wears a yellow dress shirt?
It's a very 40s look. It's a very 40s look, like those not brightly colored, but those pastels or those yellows and pinks. Like, those were pretty in vogue at a certain part in the 40s and 50s.
Sure.
He looks a lot like God, this is a joke. He looks like Mr. Mannering in all of them. You've seen sitcom Dad's Army, which of course you haven't. Why would you? But it is that kind of 40s spiv kind of design going on. I presume it's mostly so he's visible in crowds.
Yeah.
One of my favorite details, speaking of comic connections and comic people I know, I was talking to Joe Quiones about doing the Batman 89 comic for DC a few years back. If you look at it, he gives Michael Keaton Batman, brown jacket, yellow shirt.
That's awesome.
Nod.
I like that. The women are dressed pretty weirdly, but there is something in that 40s and 50s aesthetic. Remember, at least in America, and remembering in New York specifically, the fashion of the time post World War II did get pretty ostentatious for a little bit. Like, the 40s had some crazy silhouettes. The 50s had insane silhouettes and insane fabrics that they were using. So it looks weird, but considering the time period they're aping off of, it does make sense.
What I do like is Catwoman's assistant as well has the design of every female cartoon secretary from the 90s. She's like, looks a bit like Janice from Ghostbusters without the glasses. The one from Hong Kong Phooey, she looks a bit like that. Like, there was just like a look and a voice that all female secretaries had in the 90s, and she has all of them.
Yeah. She's like Nurse Joy. That secretary is the Nurse Joy of every single series.
But she's much better with cats.
You have to be. You have to be better with cats if you're going to work with Catwoman. I do like the restraint on Catwoman only having one cat here. I have, in the last, like, over a decade, Catwoman's house is always just lousy with felines. And not a litter box in sight.
I always love that in Catwoman. Which one is it which has with the house crawling with them?
All of them. So many.
There's one with loads of them, and you just get there go, that house must stink.
Well, I mean, there's like Batman Returns, all the stray cats come in after she becomes Catwoman.
In Batman Returns, that apartment looks like it stinks normally, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's very industrial, right? Because there's like the metal girders and stuff that cut through the apartment. It's I always like that look. I never understood why she had a hello there in neon in her apartment, which she of course turns into hell here, but which is probably the only reason why it's there.
I say what you want about Christopher Nolan, right? But like every now and then, and pretty much all of the like live action Catwomen post 66, like say what you want, but like they go in weird directions with their set design.
I'm going to be honest. For years, I have wanted the neon sign "Hello there," which they've never made one. I would love one that you can switch to just randomly go to hell.
There's got to be an Etsy. There's got to be an Etsy.
Got to be an Etsy. I'm not going to infringe on DC's copyright.
Hey, it's better to infringe on DC's copyright than Marvel's copyright. The mouse has scopes.
Mouse does have scopes. That's why I'm being very careful about what I include in these videos.
I don't think we've covered any of those properties yet. No X-Men 92 yet.
This is the same YouTube that did flag me playing the kazoo as an official song.
You see, problematic. See, the mouse knows. But yeah, it's so hard to talk about these episodes because it feels like this could have been one episode. I don't understand why this is a two-parter, to be quite honest with you.
Could have been 15 minutes.
Look at us vamping, but are there any other fun facts before we hit into final thoughts?
No, that is how bad this episode is. There is, apart from Bruce Timm trying to threaten us all by killing ACOM, there is nothing interesting of this episode apart from the fact that it was moved earlier. And I wonder how many kids started this series with Cat and Claw and then never watched it again. Because if you remember back when we started off with, they said On Leather Wings at the quintessential, it's meant to be that series in a capsule. This is not that. This is like the opposite of that. It does a terrible job of establishing the characters or the tone or the feel. So I do wonder how many kids watch this and then immediately never watched it again.
That's a good question. I would be really interested to see the viewership data of the show over time.
It's unfortunate you can't really because of syndication meant everyone reported differently and across networks.
I remember watching these on television. I remember seeing these two. I don't know if it was first run, but I remember seeing Cat and Claw parts 1 and 2 on TV. Yeah.
I remember seeing them. I've seen this. I rewatch Batman animated series like every couple of years. I'll go back through it, and I forgot that Red Claw was the thing. That's just how unmemorable she is as a character.
I feel like we've been saying that a lot. Like there are episodes that we just genuinely don't remember being a thing. Though the Chain Gang episode does live in Sam's mind rent free a little bit.
That and the Underdwellers. I mean, they both. But yeah, those are two. And I've always been like, I've got Batman in my basement. Well, we're through that now.
We're past it now. We don't have to do it again.
Soon comes the good bit. Yeah, I think again it's also the home video stuff. When they started doing the compilation home videos, like after they'd done the series releases, stuff like Underdwellers and Batman and Basement were not getting put on those tapes. You were getting like the Catwoman tape, you were getting the Joker tape. So if you were watching these back in the day, at home you weren't seeing these episodes outside of TV because no one is buying the Red Claw tape.
Hey,
Apart from
watch,
Bruce Timm to burn it.
we just offended the one person who's like, Red Claw's my favorite.
Red Claw is
Sorry,
my waifu.
sorry, John. Sorry, John, you just offended that guy.
I'm
And
more
now
than welcome to meet him in an alleyway and fight it out like men.
just like you would. But now it is time for final thoughts. So let's hear them.
I mean, Adrienne Barbeau is a great Catwoman. She is the highlight of this episode. Seeing her and Bruce Wayne, and oddly enough, I don't think, and maybe it's because it's a cartoon, but intended for younger audiences. I don't think we get as much good Batman Catwoman stuff in her later appearances ever again. That initial spark, that initial rapport we get in these episodes is so good, and we certainly get more Catwoman, but not quite to the same level ever again.
You can tell we've been dodging this episode. There's so little. If you want to watch this, you watch the first 20 minutes of part one, right up until the car chase happens, because then you get all the good bits. You get Bruce and Selina, both as Batman and Catwoman, and as Bruce and Selina, going on their weird dates, shooting the shit, and having their weird sexual tension. That's a lot of fun. It's literally the second Red Claw is revealed, this episode goes off a cliff, because we're sucked into a silly spy plot which doesn't have the weight to be interesting. Red Claw doesn't have the personality to be fun. And then it ends with Catwoman setting a mountain lion on someone, which should be awesome, but it isn't. It's just very boring. This is skippable, and it's unfortunate because that first bit with Bruce and Selina, really, really good acting for those two. It's just a shame they decided to nail them to the most boring villain in probably Batman history, who unfortunately radiates how boring she is.
You know what's unfortunate when the ventriloquist is outdoing you in personality? Yeah, like the first 20 minutes are great, and all of the Bruce and Selina stuff is really, really good. They have such great chemistry. The voice acting is top notch. But yeah, it's forgettable. And I've said this multiple times on this show. I would rather something be bad in an interesting way than be boring. And this was you know what? Say what you want about Underdwellers, and I've got Batman in my basement and Chain Gang. I was never fully bored during those episodes. This one, I was actually pretty bored. Like, the other ones you could laugh at, you could make fun of them, all that kind of thing. But this was just like, you can't even make a drinking game out of this. But that does mean that we have pulled into our final destination. That is right. It is time for us to disembark from Toonami Absolution. We want to thank you once again in joining us and talking about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. We have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time. Bang.